What's the easiest choice you can make? Window instead of middle seat? Picking a vendor who sends a great gift basket? Outsourcing business tasks you hate? What about selling with Shopify? Whether you're selling a little or a lot, Shopify helps you do your thing, however you cha-ching. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. From the launch your online shop stage to the first real-life store stage, all the way to the did we just hit a million orders stage. Shopify's there to help you grow. Whether you're selling scented soap or offering outdoor outfits, Shopify helps you sell. Wherever and whatever you're selling, Shopify's got you covered. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/try. Go to shopify.com/try now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/try.
Hey guys, thank you for checking out Cozy One Podcast. My name is Shan. I am the mama of the girls. It's season 16 and I'm talking to fathers who want to get back into their kids' lives. This is episode 6, Have a Supportive Father Around. That's what I want to talk about today. Happy Friday and let's get into the episode. There's a few things that supportive dads do that you got to get ready and prepared to do also. Supportive dads encourage their children, they support their children, and they show up for their children. And they're very dependable for the children and for the other parent and for their family, period. They prioritize well. Supportive dads also have some sensitivity and compassion. Okay? So if you struggle with being compassionate for other people outside of yourself, you might have a hard time being a supportive dad. Being compassionate should be a given when you have children. You know, you should be involved with your child to the point of knowing your child's teachers, knowing your child's health information. So you need to know what your child is allergic to, what foods they don't sit well in their stomach, as far as like if they're, allergic to mosquitoes, if they have a bad reaction. Moms, let me tell you something. As a mom, moms don't want to be called every time there's an emergency. We want to have the faith that you can also handle emergencies too. Now, if it's hospital-esque type of emergency, yes, call us by all means. But if they got a rash on them, we don't want you guys quiet about the rash that's been on them for the 3 days, and then you bring it back on the 4th day, and we like, what is this? Did you see this? This is spreading now. Why didn't you say something? Like, be aware of your child in that sense, okay? When it comes to your child's academics, know where your child is weak, whether it comes to different subjects, and know where they're strong at, and challenge them. Moms don't want to be the ones to be like, you know what? You don't have homework this weekend, but you are struggling in reading, so I want you to read this book. If they're struggling in reading and you're taking them for that weekend or that week, you should be up on the fact that they've been on the PlayStation too long or they've been on the iPad too long. They need to read a book for an hour. You need to listen to them read. Okay? If it's math, y'all need to do some math sheets out of the workbook that you can buy at the dollar store, that you could buy at Walmart, that you could buy at Barnes & Noble, and challenge them on their math so when they get to the next grade, if it's summertime, they're ready. Kids struggle 95% of the time because they are not prepared. So a way to be a supportive dad is to know where your child is weak in parts where they're going to be challenged in school and help them with that. It's not fair for dads only to be the fun parent. You do all the fun things. You take them to go eat the things that I don't normally feed them. They get to go play the places that, you don't normally take them. And then when they get back to the mom's house, it's, You didn't do your homework all weekend? Why not? Because my dad took me here, or we was doing this and he didn't have time. He went to the movies. So we get like, oh, you're the mean mom, or you're the mean parent, or you gonna make me do this, and that's not fun, and that's not fair. As moms, if we're gonna hold our kids accountable, we need dads to hold their kids accountable too. You know, yeah, I got you for the weekend. I did have plans to take you here, but since you didn't get this done this week, this is what we got to stay home and work on. Yeah, boo-hoo. We just want to feel like, as a mom and you being the dad, there's a team effort. And the team effort should always be making sure our child is in a better position in life, because we're on the same team of making that happen. So, don't just focus on all the fun stuff because you want to be liked by your kid. Focus on your child's needs too. Read and teach your child things that they need to know. Life skills, things they need to know how to do in the house, things that they need to be aware of on a car. All of those things, whether they're boys or girls. Because a lot of girls need their dads to be able to tell them things they can do on their own too, so they don't grow up feeling like, oh, I have to have a man because I don't know this. Or I have to have a man because I can't do this. When really, a lot of things women think that they can't do, they can do. They just were never taught to do for themselves. And I'm not saying women need to grow up and not need a man. I'm not saying that. But a lot of ways that men take advantage of women in adulthood is by finding. Some men today had a great experience of a father around. So if they became fathers, they were basically dad ready in a sense. And then you have some men who never had a dad around or a father figure and run from the responsibility of being a father because they know when they were a kid what they missed and what they needed, and they have a fear of not being able to be the dad they needed when they were a kid. So there are always reasons why men run from being a father or fatherhood or the responsibility of their kids. And I think what would have helped the boys, the girls, because a lot of women, they are very careless when it comes to their children having a healthy father in their lives because they think it's not important. They shrug at it because they didn't have that. Because when you have a girl or a boy who had a great father in their life, they're not going to be resistant to their child having one. They're not going to give a great father pushback. They're not going to do what is commonly known as, oh, you keeping my kid away from me. They're not going to do that. And for me, I've experienced having a dad in my life, and I've experienced years of not having one in my life the way he needed to be. So I know how important it is. And I am one of those mothers where I welcome the space for a consistent, healthy, working on your own stuff and making time and priority for your child father in my kids' lives. What I can't really get down with are the ones that are inconsistent, perfectly able, but don't want to because it's too much, or it's easier to not do nothing, or she got it. Her mom could do it. I can't be a father to my kids. Neither can any of the women in this world be a father to their kids. So if you're a father and you're kind of getting question marks on how you need to be a father or what it takes or what you need to do or how you start, I think it's better to have a supportive father around, even in your adulthood as a man. Have a friend that's a great father to his kids and talk to them. Have somebody you play basketball with or you go to gym with that's a great father to their kids and talk to them. Tell them about where you're at mentally, financially, time-wise, and talk to them about how you start rebuilding and making space and time to spend with your child and how you can show up the way that you want to show up. But let's talk. My daddy tip this episode is to check out authenticmasculinity.com. It talks about the 5 responsibilities for dads, and I think every dad should know. And probably if you're listening to this, you already know the 5 responsibilities you have as a father. I appreciate you, and back to the show.
Here we go.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
Women who did not have the mental tools to do for themselves and think they need a man to be able to complete a mission. And some missions in life as a woman, you don't necessarily need a man, but a good man would be nice. It starts with parenting, man. It starts with a supportive father, I'm telling you. As a supportive father, you should also know, do not make promises you cannot keep. So look around you. Think about who you go to the gym with. Think about who you work with. Think about who's in your family. Think about your friends or your friends' fathers or grandfathers that are still alive and breathing and moving around. Is there a dad that you admire? Do you talk to them on a level where you're comfortable to tell them your situation as a father? Can you go to them and ask them for advice? Can you ask them, how can I be supportive in my position as my child's dad for their mom, even though we're not together, even though we always been on a bad footing and we clash a lot? How can I be more supportive for her so we can clash less, so we can argue less? Because I feel like sometimes when I text her, she mad at me. When I call, she don't want me to call. When I show up, she don't want me there. So I'm having a problem with how I talk to her or how I can deal with her. What can I do? Ask a dad who has a good relationship with his wife or his children's mom. You have to be honest about that. You have to have a person that can help with that. How can I build back trust with my child? That's what you need to be asking a dad that you admire. How can I build back trust with my child? How can I build back trust with their mom or their grandparents or my child's side of the family, so they trust me to take them out safely and bring them back, so they trust me to have my child for a weekend? I want to be able to have my family meet my child too, and I haven't been able to do that because, their mom doesn't trust me or their grandparents don't trust me. I don't feel like it's fair when I get to meet my child because I have to do it their way because they don't trust me to do X, Y, and Z. What can I do? Ask a man that you admire that's a father. And be willing to hear something you don't like. Be willing to hear that the way that you've been going about things has been wrong. They were right. You can't do that. You got to be willing to hear those things. You got to be willing to find out a better way to do what you need to do to get the result that you want. So having a supportive father can be so vital to you being better in your kid's life. You have no idea. I'm telling you, find one, talk to him, be honest about where you haven't been showing up. Be honest about what you haven't been doing, and be honest about the little things that you have been doing that haven't been helping, okay? This is Cozy Womb Podcast. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to check out the Cozy Womb shop for merch and lulu.com for the podcast books. The podcast journals on there, marketing the podcast, and the podcast questions. You can find me at shambypodden.com. Peace.